Fortnite Season 2 Chapter 4 has countless Easter eggs I guarantee you haven't seen yet, from hints to upcoming features, new collaborations, secret unlocks, and much more, including how the new biome on the map is actually shaped exactly the same way as Japan Tokyo in real life. This whole futuristic Neo Tokyo theme was done with extreme detail by Epic, and I gotta give them props. It turns out though that the Mega City POI was teased in Fortnite years ago because it was featured in the parallel universe loading screen. Evie from the Peace Syndicate has revealed that Mega City is her home, and if you guys remember, when the Peace Syndicate showed up in Chapter 3 of Season 3, they had a big Cuddle Team bear head on the top of Rave Cave. This head actually made it to the Chapter 4 island as well, and then what do you know, this exact area of the map was replaced by Mega City. Originally, I thought this city was named Pluxaria because the Chapter 2 Season 7 Battle Pass skin Joey has pickaxes that were forged to perfection in the Pluxarian Quasar. And you can see they have this little symbol of some animal with 3 eyes that can also be seen in the parallel universe loading screen. So maybe Mega City is just a part of a whole world named Pluxaria. We know this Pluxaria place is also the home of the plant-like people, thanks to the Bloom skin being described as a Pluxarian plant assassin, and there is actually a skin in this battle pass that shares some interesting similarities. The Mystica skin, which we can confirm is a male since he was assigned the male variant for certain emotes, looks kind of similar to the Bloom skin and the Herald, but his back bling Remnant Blossom really strengthens that connection for me. It says that it is the last living Bloom from Mystica's home, and he actually has a special secret dialogue with the Neuralinks NPC where she says, "Don't go full Bloom, you'll blow my cover." I don't have any theories on this exactly, but the fact that he shares a plant type body with the sort of flaming head like the Herald really has me thinking now, especially considering the Herald was a part of the last reality, and the aliens that work for the last reality actually use a bunch of these symbols seen in that city. But moving on, I'm sure you all noticed that Mega City replaced faulty splits, and now all we have left is this sign. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are disappointed it only lasted a season. So you probably remember the Five Nights at Freddy's Easter egg inside the bowling alley, and well, it turns out they replaced that Easter egg with a brand new Five Nights at Freddy's Easter egg. Now at Mega City, one of the buildings actually has a picture that looks identical to the Five Nights at Freddy's mini maps. So this confirms to me that Fortnite definitely meant to put that Easter egg last season then, and hopefully this means we're gonna see a Five Nights at Freddy's crossover pretty soon. Now I'm sure when you guys land Mega City, you guys all go for the high card boss in order to get the mythic Havoc suppressed AR as well as the mythic shotgun, but it turns out you might want to think twice about using that mythic suppressed. Every other Havoc suppressed AR actually retains first shot accuracy while sliding. However, for some reason the mythic variant doesn't. So if you find yourself shooting your weapon while sliding a lot, you may want to actually pass on this mythic. But I have kind of a disappointing Easter egg for you guys. There is an official survey skin that seems to have an unmasked version of the Renzo skin, and even the version with the skull head looks a little bit cooler than the one we got, I gotta be honest. So I'm really hoping these versions aren't scrapped forever, but I don't really have my hopes up. But if you want to cheer yourself back up, just hop into a game of Team Rumble, because the supply drops in Team Rumble actually hold a ton of the vaulted weapons, including the original pump shotgun. Now I went into Team Rumble and I opened countless supply drops and I never got the pump myself, I can't lie, but other people have posted that they were able to get it, so it's definitely worth a try. I was able to get the charged shotgun, which was a nice throwback, and well, it turns out if you guys want to use the charged shotgun too, there's actually going to be an augment releasing this season that awards us the charged shotgun and the flintlock pistol. I personally cannot wait to use that augment. But moving on to a kind of a random Easter egg, I mentioned last season that there are a bunch of frog statues around the map, and the only connection I could find was that Legend of Zelda also has these sort of frog statues, but we haven't really got any other evidence of a Link collab, honestly. But then this season they added a ton more of these frog statues. There's like a frog shrine now at the very southern edge of the map, and then there's another frog statue at the new racetrack track that also has some sort of flag above it. And honestly, I don't know if this logo on the flag means anything, so feel free to leave a comment if you guys have an idea. But now for an Easter egg I can practically guarantee you didn't notice is that the Loot Lake floating island house is the first house in chapter 4 to have a doorbell. So yeah, for some reason in chapter 4 of season 1 there were no more doorbells on any of the houses. So now we can kind of consider this one at Loot Lake the mythic doorbell. Moving on, let's go a little bit deep into the storyline now. I was shocked to see this guy pop up on the island as just an NPC, considering he looks like he could be the nothing, or at least someone who works for them. His name is Triarch Nox, and Triarch means he's one of the leaders of a Triarchy, which is a country ruled by 3 people. And then Nox just means night or darkness in Latin. You can find him hanging around the Peace Syndicate's data network stations at Lonely Labs and Windcatch Lake, which is super interesting because Evie told us someone is trying to start a war between the syndicates, and it's in the chaos they can take control. Then she says that the Peace Syndicate's data network is their latest target. Once you go over to their computer to investigate, Triarch Nox will say, "I'd advise staying away from that terminal." But when you go ahead and search the file system anyway, he will actually attack you. It turns out that all the files on the Army of the Last Reality were corrupted, so this pretty much confirms he is the saboteur and that he's working for the Last Reality. This could mean then that the Last Reality is a Triarchy, and since he is only one of the Triarchs, that means there are 2 other rulers of his faction. The Last Reality logo kind of supports this, since there is a triangle with 3 circles in the middle, and then a hexagon representing the cubes surrounding it. Are the 2 other Triarchs then just the Cube Queen and the Herald? Or are we at a time period where one of these survey skins could be the rulers? I'm really curious to see what your guys' theories are in the comments. The last little tidbit of information I'll give on this topic is that Triarch Nox's codenamed in the files is Titanium, which interested me because we know that the Herald was able to use the power of the Chrome, and Chrome is just basically chromium. And then if you go to the periodic table, these 2 elements are almost right next to each other. So I'm calling it right now that the next Last Reality member will be codenamed Vanadium, since it is right in the middle. A more mysterious Easter egg is these stone pillars that have appeared on the island. The landmark is named Marine Monoliths, which suggests that they are connected to the Empress Mizuki Battle Pass skin. They are codenamed Bone Marrow Towers in the files, so it's possible there is a giant castle inside of this mountain. There really isn't much known about the River Guard faction that Mizuki is a part of, other than they seem to be obsessed with wind and rain. There are actually some survey skins that look like they could be a part of this faction too, so hopefully we get some more details on them during the season. One tiny detail we know thanks to Stray's NPC description is that Mizuki and Stray are siblings, but don't really get along well for some reason. Anyways, moving on to some other potential Easter eggs. This scene in the new trailer is almost identical to the key art for Akira, and well, obviously it fits the whole theme perfectly, so there's definitely potential for a crossover there. And then if you compare the charge attack with the kinetic sword, it is very similar to Zensui's Thunderclap. Therefore, a Demon Slayer collab would be perfect for this season as well. This Fortnite leaker has listed some other potential collabs we could see this season, so I definitely think we're due for some awesome skins. You guys can actually get your hands on this free back bling very soon because there's going to be a community battles event. Right now you cannot access the website, but definitely be on the lookout for this because this back bling is awesome. A cosmetic that I know you're even more hyped for though is the Sand Sloan variant. We saw this survey skin pop up a while ago, and now that it's actually appeared in the files, it looks like we're finally getting closer to understanding how the Imagined Order was formed, which means that Midas will also be returning to the storyline as well. Now let's go over some interesting theories people have came up with. You guys may have noticed this gigantic mountain right outside of Mega City, and there's a hot spring at the top that will actually launch you and send you wherever you want. But some people are theorizing that this whole big mountain is actually a volcano, and that history may be repeating itself because all the way back in chapter 1, we had a volcano on the island that activated and actually ended up destroying Tilted. So it is possible that this giant mountain might actually destroy Mega City in the future. But moving on, I find it super interesting that the new loot lake floating island has kinetic ore underneath it. When the kinetic ore was found in the beginning of chapter 4, I kind of assumed that Paradigm was the one who brought it for a reason, but I don't think we know for sure who brought the kinetic ore to the island. But it's super interesting because I'm assuming the same person who brought the kinetic ore originally is the one who's trying to bring this loot lake island back. I mentioned last season that the effect the Cube Queen skin has looks practically identical to the texture of the kinetic ore, so I think there might be a connection there, but other than that, I'm really out of ideas. And finally, guys, you may have noticed that the mega city in the trailer is actually bigger than mega city in game right now, but a Fortnite data miner has just confirmed that mega city will be expanding, and also more dojos are going to be placed around the biome. So right here, you guys are seeing the first images of the map change that will be happening in the first update, and I imagine it's going to continue to expand into even further updates. And guys, wall running is still being worked on in the files, so do not worry, that did not get scrapped. We will probably just see it in a mid-season update. So drop a like if you guys learned something new, and definitely check out this video if you missed it.